Welcome, everyone, to the Perfect Podcast. This is your host, Heartbreak himself, as always. What an unbelievable show. Best freaking pay-per-view of the year. I'm just gassing it. I don't really know if that's to be true or not. I still need a little bit of time with it. But Backlash, Smackdown, all of you in the comments, in the chat bar, or whatever it is, put what you think about what's going on right now, because to me, this is one of the better pay-per-views of the year. I love the opening segments. I love the opening to the show. The packages that they put together. Everyone with the blue eyes. I thought it was one of the cooler packages they had since Battleground. Battleground, I thought, had the best one of the year so far. And now we see a new WWE World Heavyweight Champion, or they just say World Champion now. I don't think they call it heavyweight anymore. But in the same token, thank goodness for this change. I think so many people were so happy and so willing and ready to see AJ Styles get this victory like he has gotten and beat Dean Ambrose and end Dean Ambrose's reign of terror as WWE champion. Now, I got to give him credit. He did, hold his own. And, it's funny because in my prediction show, I really didn't see him losing, only because, Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon put so much emphasis on the fact that Dean Ambrose was their guy. That's the guy that they're going to go with in the future. So I just didn't think that after him beating John Cena and so quickly into the very first SmackDown exclusive pay-per-view, they were going to have their guy just lose the title like that. And that's what they did. And you know what? Great decision. I didn't see it happening, but I'm so happy to see AJ Styles get this victory, because if there's anybody else that needs it, it's definitely him. And not needs it really like, there's going to he's going to fall off without it, but needs it as in, it's a great thing to see that when a guy puts in a lot of work and he gets rewarded for that work that he put in. And he's been putting on great match after great match after great match. I mean, look, he just put on probably the best match of Dean Ambrose's career as far as singles matches are concerned. He's probably put on the best singles match of Dean Ambrose's life. And, now he's the WWE champion. Dean Ambrose can't be angry with that at all, because he ended his run as champion with an unbelievable match with Dean Ambrose. I mean, with AJ Styles. And this guy, man, I don't know. I feel like the quicker the better that they gave him the title, because this guy's not getting any younger. He's 37. I think he's turning 38. Geez, I need to relax. This is how excited I am right now. He's turning 38 soon. He's taken so many bumps, and like Daniel Bryan said on Talking Smack a couple of weeks ago, you can only take so many bumps in your career, and nobody knows when your limit is going to reach. And I feel like AJ Styles, with all the wear and tear on his body, eventually is going to break down. Not to jinx him or anything, knock on wood here, but, I don't want to see that happen anytime soon. But at the same time, I'm so happy that they did give him the title, because many things could have happened to him, after this match with some of the spots that were going on that they were doing. And I was like, man, it just looks like he's just going to get hurt and everyone's dream is just going to get shattered. But no, he came out in the end and got the victory, and that's what everybody wanted to see. And I mean, and the thing about this pay-per-view is the reason why I say it's one of the best of the year so far this early is because it wasn't just a one-trick pony. It didn't just have the championship match, which we all loved. I mean, if you're a fan of Dean Ambrose, I'm sorry. I understand you might be pissed off right now that he lost, but you cannot deny the fact that AJ Styles has been the guy in the company for the last couple of weeks, the last couple of months, putting on the best matches with the best people and having the best feuds. So what does that mean when you do that month after month after month? That means that you deserve the championship, so that when you actually go into another feud, it means something. You're going in with that championship on the line. And that's what's important now. Dean Ambrose didn't deliver with Dolph Ziggler at SummerSlam. AJ Styles had the best match on the SummerSlam card. So it only makes sense that AJ Styles get rewarded for the great matches he's been putting on. Not to say that Dean was a terrible champion. I actually went to 2 WWE events with Dean Ambrose as champion. Not to say that they were a little bit lackluster because of that, but it just didn't feel like it had the star power, because Dean Ambrose isn't, as much of a star level as other people on the roster. So now that we have AJ as champion, I cannot doubt that these house show numbers are going to go up for SmackDown. The people are just going to be reacting. I mean, Dean Ambrose was getting booed. I'm trying to go back and talk about other matches, but I can't because I'm so infatuated with this championship match. Dean Ambrose was getting booed by the end of the match the moves that he was doing, the crowd wasn't really behind him on it. They were more behind AJ. And I know that's like the smart thing, but people are talking about, oh, well, the smart crowd, and, you know, they're not the majority. Well, I'm pretty sure if you go back and you listen to the reactions, the live reactions of the crowd, you'll hear that AJ Styles was cheered more than Dean. And I don't care what you say. If you hear more cheers than boos, it's not the majority. The minority of people probably like Dean Ambrose, and the majority like AJ. And AJ is doing it as a heel, and that's the funny part. He's not even supposed to be a good guy. He's supposed to be a bad guy going up against the biggest good guys in the company, and he's getting himself over slowly like that. Now, if they find a way to get him and turn him babyface the right way, and I emphasize the right way, then his stardom is to the moon, in my opinion. He has the in-ring skills already. You know, he has the experience. You know, he has he has it all. He has it all. He's the total package. He might not be 6'5", 265 like The Rock, but at the same time, he's a relatable champion. He's a guy that everybody can relate to, a guy that works hard, that has his journey from where he's come from to finally come here. Who would have thought, you know, in January, when Shinsuke Nakamura and AJ Styles had a match at Wrestle Kingdom 10 for the IWGP Intercontinental Championship, and one of the best matches of the entire year in January, who would have thought that by September of the same year, not only would AJ Styles be world champion, but Nakamura the NXT champion? Nobody, you couldn't, I could have bet you all my life savings, and there's not one person in this world that could have told me that. And I would have believed them that Nakamura would have been NXT champion by September, and AJ would have been WWE World Champion by this time. It's unbelievable. It's a great time. The company is slowly making steps towards greatness, and just getting better and better and better at what they're doing. And it's great to see. Backlash wasn't a one-trick pony. Like I said, I can finally move on to other things. The Divas six-pack challenge, one of the better Diva matches I've ever seen. And it's crazy because after all these Diva matches, you know, I keep saying that, oh yeah, you know, this is one of the best Divas matches I've ever seen, one of the best I've ever seen. Well, it's true, because the Divas matches for the last couple of years have been crap, and they're just now showing their potential from NXT coming up, the NXT women's stars coming up here and showing that they can actually wrestle. This is a great match, and it's crazy because I, you know, kind of marked out when AJ Styles won. I was just screaming, you know, just now. I'm still a little bit excited about it. But when Becky won, I was just as excited. I don't know why. Becky Lynch is probably my favorite character in the entire business. Ask me why, I don't know. Do I have a crush on her? Maybe, but that's not for me to talk about right now. But you know, for me, it's crazy because if you saw my predictions show, you know, you would have heard me talk about that. I thought Nikki Bella was going to win this because I figured they were going to wait, you know, give it time before Becky Lynch wins it again, and blah, 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 blah. You know, they wanted Nikki Bella to be the first ever women's champion for SmackDown, and blah, blah, blah. Daniel Bryan is her brother-in-law, and that's just how it was going to work out. And, you know, I figured they were going to do Nikki Bella, then have a Carmella feud, have Carmella win at some point, and then have Becky Lynch beat Carmella if Carmella becomes a great heel. And Carmella is a great heel, and they prove that by having her be the person Becky Lynch beat to win the championship. So it's amazing. It's a great night. Two newly crowned champions. To be completely honest with you, I had skipped the rest of the pay-per-view so I could see. Oh, wow. Now I'm looking at it right now. Apparently, Rhino and Heath Slater won the tag team championships as well against the Evil Usos, which I completely thought they were gonna get that. I thought the Usos were gonna win after that whole debacle they had. But I guess it's a great story that they have, Slater and Rhino. You know, the crowd really did get behind them, and they really liked Rhino. They really wanted Slater to get that contract, even though technically he has a contract. So whatever. I just hope that now, with the story being that he has a contract now, they still find some way to integrate them and to still be over with the crowd and popular with the crowd. It's crazy. Who would have thought that Heath Slater and Rhino would be the first? It's crazy that, you know, in my head, the reason why I made a lot of the decisions I made, I thought I had even picked the Usos. I was completely wrong this whole pay-per-view for the most part. I had picked the Usos to win that championship, but the reason being because I figured it would look better on paper that the first ever SmackDown champions were, you know, the Usos, guys that have tenure, that have experience, that have a resume that goes behind being champions. Who the heck is Heath Slater and Rhino when it comes to tag team lure? You know, they don't have any kind of history with that. But I guess, you know, you go with the moment and you go with what you think is best for the moment. And after that, Like I said, it's great to see them being champions. It'll be interesting to see what they do with them in the future. I didn't watch the match. I just saw the result of it just now as I'm talking to you guys. I was so excited for the AJ and Dean match that I wanted to watch that live instead of watching it, an hour later, because I was an hour behind. I had things to do. People got things to do, places to be. But don't worry about all that. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you guys have anything to say, I'm interested to see what anyone has to say. If not, I'll just keep talking for a little bit longer. I'm not going to be talking for too much longer. The Patriots are on right now. I want to see the end of that game. That game is pretty close. If you guys are Patriots fans, if you're not, you might as well just get off the chat right now. I don't really care. But Smackdown had a great freaking pay-per-view. It was awesome. Honestly, I think that this is funny comments. Honestly, I think that SmackDown is just becoming the #1 show on the brand, on WWE television. Raw is great. It's supposed to be the flagship. It's 3 hours long, but SmackDown being 2 hours, it was always like the redheaded stepchild of the business. But except for when it first came out with The Rock doing his thing and all that stuff, when it first was out, it was a shit. But now, it's always been second fiddle to Raw. And after a great pay-per-view like this, honestly, I think Raw has a lot they have to live up to, because if their first pay-per-view was a dud, and it could be the way things are looking. Obviously they had bad luck losing the guy that they put all their eggs in their basket with, Finn Balor. But now they have Kevin Owens. They have other people to step up. The next guy has to step up. It's not like nobody's ready to do that. So they can't really use that as an excuse. But at the same time, they're playing from behind a little bit. And hopefully they can build on the momentum SmackDown has built and just help the company build even more instead of kind of, winding down a little bit. I didn't see the Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton match. I think something happened at the end with Kane or something like that, which is cool because I had said that it was going to be a DQ, so at least I got something right. I'm sure Kane made it a disqualification with whatever he was doing, so that's a good thing to see. As far as what other things happened, The Miz and Dolph Ziggler, I didn't finish seeing that match. I didn't really care. If anybody wants to tell me what happened with that match, go ahead. I had picked The Miz because, when do you ever see a great promo in WWE get just nullified the next pay-per-view over and just get forgotten about? That doesn't really ever happen. The Miz had this great promo that everyone keeps talking about, and they're just gonna have him lose the championship after. I don't see that happening. So maybe it did happen. Maybe Dolph Ziggler did win. I know that it's not really professional of me to have an opinion and have this little after show, after the fact, if I didn't see everything. But I felt like I just needed to capitalize on the moment and capitalize on the fact that I was excited. And if I was excited, I know other people were excited as well. It's a great show. A lot of the so-called baby faces or the more popular people won in this show, which is great to see on the first show. But the thing is, this is how great the booking has been on SmackDown, like usually the good guy gets the victory and it's like, yeah, maybe we were expecting that, but you couldn't really expect that AJ Styles and Becky Lynch and Heath Slater and Rhino were going to get these victories on this show. Nobody could foresee that happening. And the fact that it happened, but it also happened in great storytelling, just shows that they're doing a great job of reeling people in with their stories and having the matches deliver as well, because it's the two-part thing. You can't just have the great promos and then have the match suck, because then people aren't going to care much about the promos if they always know the matches are going to be bad. That's why people don't really care too much about the Miz match, or at least I don't, because I know at the end of the day that the Miz's matches is going to suck, or they're not going to be as entertaining as someone else. Therefore, I'm not going to really care about it too much. But I know a guy like AJ Styles, when his promos are going on and what he's talking about, he's going to deliver 1,000% in every match he's in. Therefore, it makes the promos that much more important. So, seeing a guy like Becky Lynch win, now, now that she's champion, everything that she does is magnified. Same thing with AJ Styles. Now that he's champion, everything that he's going to do from now on is magnified. So all these great promos, all these great matches that he's going to have isn't going to be kind of left behind and start as an afterthought because of the fact that it wasn't for a championship belt, or the fact that it wasn't for anything important. Now he's the champion, and he's the WWE World Champion, which means he's the most important freaking guy in the freaking business. We've been boys for so yes. Excited. I'm excited, as you can tell. I'm obviously hype right now. AJ Styles definitely deserves this championship. The Usos, it's great to see them go heel, change it up a little bit. Another interesting dynamic on SmackDown. They're just doing a great job. I always say week by week SmackDown. Every time I do my weekly reviews, man, I say it. Excuse me. I say that, SmackDown is always doing a great job of really just with their storytelling and what they do week by week. And this pay-per-view did not disappoint at all. And I guess for the sake of this this conversation we're all having, and for the sake of this show that I have to go back and find out what the heck happened with the rest of these guys. So I mean, I'm seeing in the chat some people. The thing is, you guys are always, you're always back and forth. You tell me one thing and another person tells me another thing. So how am I supposed to know who won between Dolph Ziggler and the Miz? Nobody's really saying anything. Some people are saying stuff, but it's not really viable knowledge that has to do with anything. Let's see. So Dolph Ziggler and the Miz. Okay. All right. So just for an official recap, first match of the show, 6-pack challenge, women's. Becky Lynch gets that victory, finishes with the arm breaker on Carmella, gets the win after Carmella had a surprise roll up on Nikki Bella. It's always so funny. They always do it's 9/11. They have the people dressed up in their American gear. Everybody always dressed up in their American gear. Man, they never seem to get any victories. They always do that for a cheap pop, and then they always lose. So, Nikki Bella had her little American gear on, and she lost. Someone else, too, that I can't remember. Oh, the Hype Bros. They had their American-looking attire on. They lost. I'm not sure anybody else. I think Dolph Ziggler, maybe? No, that's Dolph Ziggler. I don't know. I don't know anyone else. But, they always seem to do that stuff. So, but I'm seeing the end of this Miz and Dolph Ziggler match. The Miz is really working his leg, the figure 4. Then a lot of things are happening. The Miz is crawling away. Oh man, I'm trying to. Well, anyway, so we get to the tag team match between the Hype Bros and the Usos. The Usos come out with the victory there. Oh wow, that's how the Miz won. Boy, that is some bull crap. They had Maurice spray pepper spray on Dolph Ziggler. Oh, that's terrible. That's bad. That's how you're going to have the Miz win. I mean, that's bad. But at the same time, like I said, they needed the Miz to get a victory, and they needed to do it where Dolph doesn't lose momentum. If they were smart, that's how they were going to do it, and that's what they did. Dolph doesn't lose much momentum. I mean, he's already as much momentum as he's had, with all the great victories he's had the last couple of weeks. He hasn't. I guess that's how the Miz gets the championship, with pepper spray. But like I said, the Miz needed to retain the championship, so I'm happy at the end of the day. Even though the finish is stupid, the AJ Styles Dean Ambrose finish was kind of stupid, but it wasn't really stupid. I don't care. AJ Styles won. I didn't care how he won. I didn't care if he hit him with a chair in the face. I would have been so freaking happy. So happy. I'm trying not to swear, but Patriots are on right now. So, like I said, let's recap. The Miz wins via pepper spray against Dolph Ziggler. The ref didn't see it, and then he gives him his skull-crushing finale. The tag team championship belts got won by Heath Slater and Rhino against the Usos. That match was a great match. From some of the things I saw, the comeback that Slater and Rhino had was awesome. We had the World Championship match. AJ Styles, Dean Ambrose, best match on the card, as it should be for the championship. AJ Styles gets the victory, as he freaking should have, and now he's the man, and he's the face that runs the freaking place. And there's nothing anyone or anybody can say about it. I'm happy for AJ Styles. I'm happy for SmackDown Live, and I'm happy for this new era for the WWE. They're doing a great job right now. Congrats, Becky Lynch. Straight fire. Congrats, AJ. Face that runs the place. Boy. So this is the perfect podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Obviously, I'm gonna have a lot more calm review sometime in the midweek. I'm gonna, review the things that happened on Raw and SmackDown. Cruiserweight Classic, perfect podcast, all that stuff. You already know. This is Heartbreak himself. Signing off. Thank you guys for listening again. And have a good night. Yeah.